All right, passing yards for Goff, 4,050.5. Over or under?
I would take the over. He threw for 4,575 yards last year, and I really think they have more to go and more to gain passing wise if they want to really unlock it. And even if it's the same, it's 500 yards more than what that total is. I like the over.
I like the over as well. It seems like a low number. I mean, I wonder, what are they figuring into this that he won't throw for as much? Are they thinking that they're going to run the ball a little bit more?
Bingo.
Are they thinking that he's going to sit out a game or two? Injury plays a factor. I mean,
defenses are just going to catch up to Ben Johnson and the Lions. That's how it works out to Doug.
We know Vegas is not dumb, but I like the over here as well.
Yeah, the only thing that scares me is it seems like a no-brainer. That scares me when Vegas is involved, but I'm taking the over here.
Okay, we all take the over on that. Goff touchdown passes, 26.5.
He had 30 last year, but you get 17 games. I take the over. I don't know how many more he's going to get than if he gets 30 or not, but it got to do better than 26.5. More than 27 or more.
Same. I'm a little bit
I
curious. I think the offense has a chance to be better. The only thing I can think of is that they think Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery are going to run the ball a lot.
Or they don't expect Goff to stay healthy enough. But, I mean, in his career, he's with the Lions, he went from 19 touchdowns to 29 to 30.
I got the over. Khang?
Yeah, I got the over again. I just expect the offense to be just as explosive, if not more, this year than last year with the experience that Gibbs is going to get out of the backfield as far as his swing passes, screen passes, and then J-Mo taking the top off the defense over the top.
Let's go to receiving yards here. St. Brown, 1,275.5. Laporta, 850.5. Gibbs, 350.5. I'm going to go, just to do this quickly, over on St. Brown, under on Laporta, over on Gibbs. And I think Laporta is going to have a hard time matching what he did a year ago.
I would agree with you on that analysis. I think Laporta's going to have a hard time topping what he did last year, and the number you have is actually slightly less than what he did last year. St. Brown had 1,500 yards receiving. You're talking 1,200, and Gibbs only had 316 last year. I think Gibbs has more to give. I think St. Brown can do more than 1,200, and I agree with you on Laporta maybe not doing as much.
Khang?
I've got under. Under on St. Brown because the other two guys are going to be over, and it's got to come from somewhere. And, Laporta had a great year last year, and that's if he does it every year, that's, Hall of Fame worthy. But I think he does take an extra leap this year and maybe hits close to 1,000.
Rushing yards, Gibbs, 850.5. Montgomery, 800.5.
Well, those are both well below last year's totals. Gibbs had 945 last year. Montgomery was 1015 last year. I like the over Gibbs total. What was the Montgomery total?
800.5.
Yeah, I like them both over. I don't know if they're going to have the same years they had last year, but both of those, but they should do better than what these numbers are.
These numbers feel really low, and I'm wondering if in Vegas, every fan base is compelled to bet their over on their guys. But this feels like...
Or they listened to that executive that the Athletic interviewed?
Oh, that they're the ninth best team in the NFC?
Yeah, and everybody's going to figure them out.
I got over and over.
I've got over and under. I think Gibbs is just going to take a more prominent role in the backfield this year, and that's not a knock on Montgomery, but I think he's used more to... He'll start the game, kind of soften up the defense, but then his role becomes... short yardage, and maybe run the clock if the Lions are up. But otherwise, I think Gibbs becomes more of the feature back and gets more carries. So I like Gibbs over, Montgomery under.
Really, it's because Ken doesn't want to say it, but don't forget that the truth is on this team.
Truth takes some carries away from Montgomery.
Yeah.
Sacks, Aiden Hutchinson,
11.5. He had, what is it, 11.5?
Yeah.
That's what he had last year.
He had 11?
Yeah, 11.5. Sacks last
year.
He
exactly 11.5?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm bullish on him. I think he's going to have a breakout year, and one of my bold-ass predictions was he would have 15 sacks, so I'm going to stand by it.
Yeah, I got the over on that as well.
Yeah, I'm buying the Aaron Glenn hype on Hutch. I think he turns into that TJ Watt / Max Crosby / Myles Garrett type. Hey, he's going to get easily 12, 13 sacks expected every year.
Okay, Terrion Arnold, 2.5 interceptions, over or under?
I think he's going to get the opportunity to have a bunch of interceptions. They're going to throw a lot at him early and test him. 3 interceptions on a season isn't that much.
I will tell you right now, I'm going under, and it's because it's so hard to play that position as a rookie.
It is. I'm going to go over because I think he can get 3.
Okay. Khang?
I'm going to go under. I mean, yeah, that's not a big number, but it's also harder to get interceptions than I think people realize. I think the interceptions will come from Kirby Joseph and Brian Branch and you know, linebacker here and there, but I got the under for Arnold.
Jerry Jacobs had 3 last.
We picked the Lions to win the Super Bowl. All 3 of us picked the Lions to win the Super Bowl. And I actually think this is the year it happens. I think they break through this season, which is still hard to get over that they put themselves in this position. But we had our picks in yesterday. So just to reiterate, I like them at 12-5. And I think they play an extremely tough schedule. And I'm not surprised. I mean, I would be surprised if they won more than 12. But I can't believe that they brought back almost the exact same offense, except they should be better on the offensive line. Zeitler is considered a better guard than Jonah Jackson was. They upgraded the offensive line. I buy the JMO hype, and so I think the offense has a chance to be better. Defensively, there's some blind faith here, but it's blind faith in Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes. I don't know. The secondary can't be much worse, but I like the way they completely overhauled the secondary. The blind faith in Dan Campbell's about Onzarike and the impact he could make. So I got him at 12-5 and winning the Super Bowl. Gator, you?
I have him at 11-6 and winning the Super Bowl. I have him winning the division. And, you know, last year I had them at 12-5. I think they're every bit as good as they were last year and maybe even better, but the schedule's tougher. So it's okay if they lose some games. It's kind of like when we look at college football, and if a team loses 2 games, your season's not over. You still can make the playoffs. I really like what they have. I think defensively they can be way better than what they were last year. And yet saying that, I have them with an extra loss this year. I think you've got this stretch where they play back-to-back games that are mental games. Another home game against Seattle, which is just taking on Seattle has been a house of horrors the last few times they played them. And then they play at Dallas the following, they have a bye week, and then they play at Dallas right after the bye week. Can they exercise the demons of what's going on with both of those teams? Sure they can. I get nervous about playing the 4 games in the last 9 when you've got 2 against the Packers and 2 against the Bears, because I do think the Bears are going to be a much improved football team when you get to the second half of the season. And if the Packers are what they're cracked up to be and we don't face them until November 3rd, that's going to be difficult. And they've got that difficult stretch where they play at Green Bay and at Houston back-to-back in early November. But offensively, I'm very excited about what they can do with Jamison Williams. How big of a step is he going to take this year? Is someone else going to emerge as a wide receiving threat? I think they might control the tempo more. I do see them running the ball more than what they did last year. But really, the success and failure of this team comes down to how much improvement has the defense made, and I think they've made more improvement.
Khang?
Well, I'm a little bit more optimistic. I actually got them at 13-4, and then, of course, winning the Super Bowl. They bring back almost everybody, and the people they bring back I expect to get better. And the people they did lose, Jonah Jackson, Josh Reynolds, they do have replacements for. I think a lot of times people figure out teams like when they lose players in the offseason, how do we overcome that? I think the fact that the players that are coming back I expect to be better, and they brought back both coordinators, which is huge. I just expect them to – this is where the trajectory – Trajectory? It's not even the word.
You're not even close.
Is headed, right, guys? Here's the thing. You like Mexican food, Gator?
Love Mexican food.
Dan Campbell wants the whole enchilada. And if I go to Applebee's, I don't even know if they have enchiladas, but I'm going to ask for an enchilada because I want the whole thing.
Yeah.
There's no reason why this team can't win other than, knock on wood, injuries. Everyone mentions the schedule's tougher, and it is, but they only play 3 outdoor games, so don't forget that. Every other game is inside, and that's where Jared Goff and the offense shines, indoor games.
All right, so there it is. Every year we also add up the average of what the listeners predict, and then we mix in a little formula, subtract 2 wins, because every fan base has a little bit of homer in them. So unfortunately, when we apply that formula, The Lions only finished the season 12-5 because the average pick today was 14-3.
We're chesty.
Yeah.
We're chesty, right?
Yep. So there you have it.